created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
And of course, again, I am pretty sure everybody here recognized by far the most well known duo in all the history of opera. It is not the duet from La Bohème, it's not from any other pieces in Rigoletto. No, no, no. Of course, it's La Traviata, the very, very well known Libiam, lieti, calici, which is also known in English as a drinking song. If you ask me, drinking song sounds horrible. What is the Libiamo? Ah, it's a drinking song. Horrible way to call it, but that's the way they like to call it in English. Truth is that, again, in the geniosity of Maestro Verdi, he really knew how to catch the attention of people. And for La Traviata, the same way he chose that for Rigoletto he would give La Donna Immobile to the tenor, he chose that for La Traviata he would give to the main two characters, Alfredo and Violetta, which by the way, Violetta is much more important in the whole story than Alfredo himself. Alfredo is mainly secondary. First role, but truly, truly secondary to Violetta. Everybody secondary to Violetta. So Maestro Verdi has given them this duet that outside the Traviata itself, when you are attending a concert and there are two singers, usually at least a tenor and a soprano, they usually wrap it up with this one. As the encore, they like to put it there because it's going to call the attention. If the time allowed, they would even have cups or glasses to share the drinking with some of the attendants, to the public. And it's like, let's get the party starting. That's what the drinking song, or the Libiamo Nieti Calici, is about. But why don't we start talking a little about when it happens? We know it happens at the beginning of the opera, but why, Katya, why don't you start sharing with us how do we get to this moment of the Libiamo?
Well, yes, it is a very well known part of the opera. Uh, it's beautiful, I think. Everybody likes to be part of the choir when you are listening this duet. The people starts to sing when you are performing this duet, because it's what we call in Spanish pegajoso. It sounds for itself, so you want to be part of it. And I think that it introduces the spirit of the first act. Well, it starts. If you have seen the opera, it starts in a party, and I think this is the heart of the first act because it lets you see the lifestyle of Violeta, who is the main character, but also introduces how Alfredo sees the life. So it's not as silly as it could be taken.
Yeah, and that's because when Alfredo is invited to share some words for the Brindisi. It's also known as the Brindisi from La Traviata. Personally, I like more the name of Brindisi than the drinking song. So the Brindisi sounds much better, and he's invited to share some words to open the Brindisi. And he says, no, 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 maybe I shouldn't. But when he knows that Violeta would like him to do that, and since he's interested in Violeta, then he says, okay, I changed my mind. So here are my words. So he was very easy to make him fall in the game. as he's trying to call the attention of the very beautiful Violetta Valery. That's what it is said, that she's a very beautiful woman, very attractive. And Alfredo is very young. Alfredo is, in a way, very, very innocent. His father will tell him about it later. He will also learn that the easy life that he will later have with Violetta, it's just because he wasn't mature enough to really understand what was going on. But at this point, he's happy. He's in the same party with the woman he has admired for a good number of weeks and that he has wanted to approach. That we will learn also later in the Undi Felice Eterea. But at this point, we're just having fun. It's not even half of the first act when we have to start singing. We, and I want to insist on the we, because as Katia just mentioned, everybody wants to sing it. The public, I think even the orchestra director wants to sing it. Or the pianist, is that right? So everybody wants to join. And either whether you know the words or not, you also like the clapping. We will get to the clapping to the ta-ta, ta-ta-ra, ta-ta-ta-ra, ta-ta, ta-ra-ran, ta-ra-ra-ran, ta-ra-ra-ran. And Alfredo opens his words with something that reads con grazia leggerissimo. Again, we find these notations of grazia leggerissimo. And I have to confess something on behalf of many tenors. Just don't tell many tenors that I told you this secret. They don't know how to do grazia leggerissimo. In fact, I think that maybe this Brindisi is one of the most horrible things, imperfect things that tenors sing. Why? Because they barely look at the score. They barely pay attention to the notes and the many things that they have to do. They just go with the flow. To be sincere. And I am being this sincere because I will not, as we have made in other episodes, I will not insist that much on the notes and the heights and the legaturas and this is marcato or this is not, or etc. Because truth is that this is so well known that really nobody cares if it is well done or not. And to be sincere, tenors abuse of that. So when say con grazia leggerissimo, of course, if you're a lyrical or a leggero tenor, it is easy. Libiam nell'etica, lici che la bellezza infiora. But the truth is that nobody does everything. They go very, very plain. Libiam nell'etica, lici che la bellezza infiora. If the notes were proper, if you hit the right note, if you were in pitch, if you follow the shakatura, they don't really care. To be sincere. They just want the melody to flow. Because here Maestro Verdi requested a double P, which means pianissimo. But can you think of any tenor going pianissimo in that part of Sinebria voluta? Of course, no tenor is going to do it pianissimo. They will do it. If not forte, maybe not fortissimo, but at least forte.
Mezzo forte.
Nobody will do it pianissimo. Of course not. Nobody's expecting you to do that. I agree with it. I think it really depends on the type of tenor. Because as we have expressed in many other cases, if this is a tenor with a heavier voice, truth is that even if he tries, the shakatura and the small changes between the do, the res, and the mis will not be noticeable. Because the voice is too wide to perceive those small changes in the tone. To be sincere, but if it is a light tenor, of course, if you know who Cesare Valletti was, Cesare Valletti was a tenor leggero, very beautiful voice, and you could listen perfectly to his voice in pitch for each and every of these notes. But if you think of other voices, wider voices, truth is that the notes are not in pitch, and even if they try them to be in pitch, nobody will notice or nobody will care. So again, the tenor will go the easy way out, and the easy way out is I want to move ahead with my phrases until the soprano has to sing because I want the applause. And then there comes the second phrase, Libiam ne dolci fremiti che suscita l'amore, poiché quello che al cuore onnipotente va. This phrase of onnipotente va is also another one of the horrible things that tenors like to do. They skip notes, they get messy, they basically don't care about this. And if you're a tenor yourself and you want to say, no, Ricardo, you're wrong, all tenors care very much about this, I challenge you to prove it. Please send us a post where you say, look at tenor A, B, and C, and look at how perfect they are in their pitch, how perfect in all these parts, and you will notice that, to be sincere, they really don't. And maybe because the problem about it is that when one piece is so famous, usually tends to vulgarize in the tenor that everybody seems to know it, and truth is nobody really knows it. We are so used to listening to La Donna Mobile that we think that singing La Donna Mobile plano, monotonous is right. La donna è mobile qual piuma al vento, because the sole accent of the words emphasizes where it needs to be sung. But Maestro Verdi wrote also con grazia and leggerissimo in La donna è mobile. So la donna è mobile qual piuma al vento. So when the tenor cares enough to say vento, he should care again. And now going back to La Traviata, in all these parts to make sure that he's conveying his con grazia leggerissimo, which I would like to insist it's not that easy. But so far, what has he said? First, let's translate what Libiam nel lieti calici. As we were preparing this program, I was telling Katia that the name is way too pretentious. Libiam nel lieti calici, this invitation to drink from this calici makes reference to the shape of the cups. That's why they are using calici. But basically, he's saying in more vulgar words, let's drink from these glasses. So, but it is a party of the high society. So the invitation cannot be, let's drink from the glasses, no? So, libiamo nel lieti calici, che la bellezza infiora, e la fuggevol ora fuggendo fugge volora sinebria voluta. This invitation to drink, I think it has its place in the opera only to prove, because remember that La Traviata is a very deep criticism from Maestro Verdi to the common practices of those days. So even though the first act is displays, we think that it is only displaying what the lifestyle of Violetta and her group. Very deeply, Maestro Verdi is criticizing it, because he will tell us later that Alfredo and Violetta, yes, they met in their circumstances, but as soon as they are able to build their story, they prefer to live apart. They don't want to be part of this. And when their relationship fails, Violetta goes back to that lifestyle, which she internally doesn't really like, but that she understands that she has to do. So at this point, both Alfredo and Violetta that are singing, they are like playing in a masquerade. We have to understand that what they are singing is not really who they are deep inside themselves. Alfredo, yes, I have accepted to sing this, but truth is that I am here for my interest in Violetta. Violetta has not really noticed, but she's flirting with Alfredo. But Alfredo, in these words, is trying to call the attention of Violeta. So, as he has progressed, and the construction of this duet is very simple because Alfredo does his part, Violeta will do her part, the choir will help us a part with it, and then at the end, the two of them will work together in bringing it to an end. So, those are my initial thoughts on the part of Alfredo. What about your part, Katia, on Violetas?
Well, I was reading the score and listening all that you mentioned, and yes, it's a masquerade because Alfredo tries to look like this self-confident guy, and here I'm part of the group, I'm part of the party, let's drink, let's have fun, but he mentions love. And it's probably the only one that is thinking of love in that party.
Yeah, most likely he's the only one.
Let's remember that Violeta is a very expensive kind of prostitute. So that she flirts doesn't mean anything. Well, spoiler alert, she will fall in love with Alfredo later. But at this point, she's flirting with Alfredo as she would flirt with anyone else. But it's very tender that Alfredo hears mentioning love more than once. So yes, he's a very innocent guy.
Yeah, poor Alfredo that arrives to the party and his Brindisi is so innocent in a way. And I also think that is the reason why Maestro Verdi wrote Con grazia leggerissimo, because in a way he's showing us that the soul, the emotions of Alfredo are innocent and sincere. He knows he's in a party, he knows what Violeta does for a job, but he doesn't recriminate it to her. He's comfortable with that. In a way, we will know later, but in a way, Violeta was very fortunate to have found Alfredo, because Alfredo is more than ready to give the purity of his heart to Violeta. So if you have that in mind, then you can also be led to think that Alfredo is a lovely role. Of course, not as important as Violeta, because Maestro Verdi has given everything of importance to her, maybe only for the aria and cabaletta of the opening second act. But truth is that the 95% of the attention is on Violeta. So the other remaining 5% that are Giorgio, the father of Alfredo, and Alfredo himself, are, if not ornaments, are at least elements that support the evolution of Violeta. And what Maestro Verdi gave to Alfredo is the purity of heart. Later, when he will not behave very mature, but that corresponds to his age. Because we know that Alfredo is very young compared to Violeta. Not that Violeta is old, but clearly at least more experienced than Alfredo.
A little bit, yes.
Because Alfredo is approaching with the intention of love. And Violeta is doing her job.
Yes.
And so we arrive to the part of Violeta that in the score says, Violeta rises and starts singing Tra voi saprò dividere il tempo mio giocondo. Tutto è follia, follia nel mondo, ciò che non è piacer. And I have to say, unless Katia wants to defend the sopranos, but truth is that sopranos don't do all the notes either.
I'm not gonna defend anyone. They should sing every note. Because I do it.
But you agree that also most sopranos do not sing them.
Yes, the music here is at certain speed that if you jump some notes, probably nobody will notice. But you are singing and you know, so I'm prepared as a singer to do what is written. And yes, I do sing a lot of notes. Yes, well, Violeta we said a few minutes ago, Violeta is doing her job. That party is what she uses too. And she starts her part with this phrase that leaves this point as clear as possible. I will give my time to all of you. And I think that we all know that what she means when she says time. I mean, she was with guys. That was her job.
Yeah, and also the sound. If when I mentioned that Alfredo starts con grazia, leggerissimo, and libiamo nei lieti calici, tan tarararan, tararara. Violetta, in the opening of her phrases, does not have neither grazia, neither leggerissimo. In fact, her writing is putting emphasis on her syllables. Travoi, it is with emphasis, travoi io saprò dividere il tempo mio giocondo. Exactly what Katia has just mentioned.
There is Violeta for everybody. And with an accent.
Yeah, I am everybody's Violeta. It's basically what she said. And she is not afraid of saying it because everybody who is at the party know it, apparently except Alfredo. But she's stating her point, and as she's stating her point, the writing is very different to the leggerissimo con grazia of Alfredo. Alfredo, innocent and thinking, hey, yes, we are going to sing because of the joy of what we're drinking and our beautiful cups. And after he says that, Violeta says, yes, I'm going to spend my time with all of you, with whoever has the money to pay for it, basically.
Yes, because if we're not talking about pleasure, well, there's nothing worth to talk about in the world.
Yeah. That's what she says, which is a completely opposite message to what Alfredo says when he talks about love. Libiamo, amor fra I calici più caldi baci avrà. And opposite to what he has said about love, this woman says, if we are not talking about pleasure, guy, there is nothing to talk about. Opposite message. But since Maestro Verdi wrote a very, very lovely melody, similar melody for the two of them, people think, hey, the two of them have fallen in love. Look, Alfredo is flirting on Violeta and Violeta is responding back. She's falling in love for Alfredo. No. That's not what is happening. People, you got it all wrong. That is not the situation that we are watching on stage. And as this duet evolves, which is very basic in terms of the melody and the rhythm that Maestro Verdi put in it, it feels, at least from my perspective, that it flows very quickly. Like it starts singer A, singer B, hoyer, final part, boom, finito. 3 minutes, very, very fast. Next. We keep moving. But this is so charming that people keep asking for more. So maybe it was not only the encore of a given concert, but people ask it to visit because singing one time Il Libiamo is not enough. So people want to be sung twice. Because that's the level of emotion that a melody can provoke, and maybe we can bring the conversation to that. Because at the end, the purpose of music is to bring people to a given emotion. From that perspective, the enthusiasm that Maestro Verdi is able to provide to the Brindisi, he fully succeeded. He wants people to be engaged and enthusiastic. He did it. People are engaged and enthusiastic and are clapping. Ta-ra, ta, ta-ra, ta, ta. It really does. And I'm not sure if you yourself have been in a part in a recital where this is actually sung, because it also happens when there are concerts in memory of someone, and there are like these dozens of singers, mezzos, basses, tenors, baritones, sopranos, and this is the encore. So everybody's on stage, so nobody
Ay.
nobody else coming to the stage. You have 20 people over there, and so of course you know that everybody's going to sing La Traviata. But you get the emotion of people. I mean, you are in front and you see people, you see their happy faces, you keep either smiling, and whether you think this melody may be shallow, you know that your purpose as a singer was met. At least that's my perspective.
Oh my god. Well, when you're not a musician and you're not singer and you don't have the score and probably you're not understanding the text at all and the context that we've been analyzing in this program, um, as a public, it's very easy to flow, to let yourself go with the pam 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 pam. It moves you. So yes, if you don't know the context, it's easy to stay with the idea of Libiam, or let's drink, let's have fun, and it impulses you to this enthusiasm that the music itself provides. I wouldn't blame anyone. It's not their fault. Maestro Verdi, it worked.
It worked. He wanted to be successful. It was. It is now. It certainly.
This is what you wanted. Well, it worked.
Yeah, it certainly did. And of course, it's more effective when you have the opportunity of having a full choir with you. When there is a recital or only a concert, truth is that most of the times you don't have a choir supporting them, but you can always use the public, either with their feet, also, or clapping, as we just mentioned, or or just trying to hum it, inventing the words. Why not? Inventing the words.
Nobody will care.
But if you're interested, let me share you what the words are. And it says, godiamo la tazza, il cantico, la notte a vela e il riso. And if you're part of the choir, let me tell you that you are also skipping several notes. This part has several notes written, so what was I saying? Godiamo la tazza, il cantico, la notte a vela e il riso. In questo paradiso ne scopra il nuovo Dio. Then Violeta la vita nel tripodio. Still very, very, very interesting that she insists, now she says with grazia to Alfredo, she insists to Alfredo, la vita nel tripudio. There is only life when there is pleasure. Such are her words. If you think that Violeta is confessing her love or being attracted to Alfredo, again, no, you got it all wrong. Saying, life is for pleasure. And Alfredo will reply, quando non sami ancora. He's insisting, this poor innocent boy of Alfredo. You say that only because you don't know that when you love someone, everything cora. That's why the melody still, like, if not despective, at least not in the same mood. When Violeta says, la vita en el tripodio, and Alfredo is slightly lower in the tones, quando non sami ancora. And Violeta again, if not secco, one gets the sensation that she's putting distance in the way she sings. No dite a chi l'ignora. And again, he insists, El mio destin così. Like, man, life is for pleasure. Oh, only because you don't know love. Ah, don't tell it to the person who doesn't know it. Oh, it's my destiny to tell you so. It's like a cartoonish representation of what's going on, but the truth is that Alfredo is being sincere.
But also
Violetta
Violetta.
is also maybe way too sincere.
She's probably being even rude, but sincere.
But at least we can say that she didn't lie. And that's when their two parts join along with the core. Godiamo, godiamo, godiamo. No, I don't know if you have not noticed, but the melody of Maestro Verdi for the choir and the other voice is very, if not monotonous, it's very rhythmic. It- ta- 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 ta. While, because they are giving the base of the melody for Violetta and Alfredo to do their stuff. Because at some point they are singing the same words. La tazza, il cantico, la nota bella, il riso. Basically, when say in questo, people are clapping. In questo paradiso ne scopra il nuovo di. Ne scopre, ne scopre il Dio. And the final part has always been a mystery to me. Because after all this happening, I really don't know what's the best way to do it. What is written is after the oh, after that it has to see the choir, all of them sing with the sound E, the vowel E. Violetta, what I have written here, she goes for a B. Alfredo will keep lower. But the truth is that nobody cares about what note Alfredo. The truth is that nobody knows either what Violetta will sing. They are just waiting for the si, nobody, or whatever your phrase is that you are wrapping up with. But I was telling you that I am uncertain what's the best way to wrap it, because after since this is a melody that captures you and you come ta ra ta 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 ra ta 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 ra tan ta ra ran ta ah ah ta ra ta 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 ra ta 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 ta, and you keep it for long, or you keep it louder, or you keep it higher. If you have to make a choice, length, or I mean
I will leave the stage.
duration, height of the note, or volume, which one would you prefer?
The high of the note. Well, it is a complicated ending because for soprano it ends with a C, and probably that vowel, the I, it's not the most comfortable way to sing a B. It will lose the shape. Um, it will probably sound like a anyway.
Come on, this is not the first time that the Sopranos changed the sounds of anything. I mean,
No. But I think that if you are thinking about the height of the note and the double F, it could be pueden ir de la mano. They can match. It probably doesn't mean an extra effort, but the duration could set you in trouble. Yes.
Yeah, because it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the part of the sixth bar. So I don't think there are many singers who would have the breath to do that note. As you mentioned, the sound of the E, of the vowel E, I in English. The combination of those factors, fortissimo, more than 4 bars, and the vowel, it's way too much.
Yes, it's like if Maestro Verdi tries to kill you in the first act.
Because many singers will crack their voice trying to go for that sound in fortissimo that most of the times will not work. Singers will look for a way around for not falling into the fortissimo, or if the fortissimo briefly, or maybe a lower note, or as you mentioned, changing the sound of the I. So maybe we can say that one of the less respected endings of a duet is this one.
Yes, in my personal opinion, I think that I would try to sing my most comfortable fortissimo. That point where I feel that I'm not gonna die. Forte, but not dying.
Yeah, fortissimo, I think it was a little too much. I also think so. And people are also expecting, and hopefully the orchestra or the pianist are paying enough attention, because they have to be aware on when the voices are going to wrap up. Because if the orchestra or the piano keeps playing for the following bars, and everybody wants to and then the last chords of the music at the same time, because that's like a tremendous explosion of joy. That's the way it is expected to happen. So that's why the pianist or the orchestra director have to have a very good coordination. Maybe because you said, hey, I think I'm going to last this long. But if you notice that I am doing it, means that I will not be able to do it.
If you notice that I'm changing to purple, cut it up.
Yeah, cut it up immediately and can with the piano so that people think it was on purpose.
Yes, you need to be careful at this point because mainly Violeta and Alfredo, because there is a very important number after this, and if you give everything in this ending, you will probably not make it in the next one.
And I think that would also be very good word of advice if you're working in Violeta and Alfredo. You will be performing it at your university, part of your training, your vocal training, or whatever your situation is. Or if you're just singing it at home while you're cooking, don't give anything here, because you still have lots of singing coming. Violeta is on stage most of the time, so don't spend all your armor in this duet, because this is meant to be lovely and enjoyable. Later, you will have time to show your high notes, your legato. You will have to show what you as a singer are made of. So don't use everything here. I think I would advise also to enjoy. We have made, or I have made, lots of fun around tenors not singing all the notes. And truth is, I'm not. If you have followed the seasons and episodes, I am not follower of skipping parts just because you cannot sing them. I am not in favor of that. But truth is that if you ask me, would you like the tenor to do all the notes in the Brindisi, or would you like him to sing all the notes in the following duet with Violeta? Of course, keep it for the following duet. Because in the Undi Felice, Eterea, you will have to do all those very beautiful things with your voice. So spread yourself, save it for later. Not saying that you do a mess with the Brindisi, no, neither do that. Don't do a mess, but don't break your head too much on this piece that fortunately catches the attention and is loved by everybody. This is one of the pieces that was written for enjoying, for having yourself rewarded if you sing it or if you're attending a concert and the singers are going for the duet. It's for everybody to enjoy. They have proven their voices, they have proven they can sing. Everybody, let's just enjoy. What other thoughts do you have on this Brindisi, Katia? What else would you like to share?
Well, if you are my student, you will sing all the notes in both.
Yeah, that would certainly.
I'll make you study. I will make you study all the notes in both. Because of respect. I understand your point. I agree. and you have to take care of your resources and your instrument. You have to be intelligent. For example, when you run a race, because I'm starting to be a runner, you can use your entire speed at the beginning of a marathon, for example. You have to take care to administrate your energy, your strength. So study all the notes, but check if you need to skip some parts to save some of your resources for later. And have in mind that as a soprano, your voice will cross the orchestra and the rest of the singers. So don't effort a lot in this fortissimo. It wouldn't be needed.
And what people are expecting after that final part is just to clap and cheer. Hey, bravo, hurrah! So, don't worry.
It's all fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry. Enjoy.
enjoy. Fortunately, the drama will come later, but at this point, just enjoy. Now you know that this is not a duet of love. So, oh, I love you, Alfredo, so much, and Violeta. Thanks for loving me back. No.
Who doesn't?
But the drama comes later. So far, we are doing good. Um, I don't know if there is much else left to talk about this. I think, at least for me, I think we've covered what I wanted to share. Unless Katia wants to share something else.
I think that, many things could be said, but I think that we have mentioned a lot for this program.
So, with that being said, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for having followed us in this episode. And we'll meet sometime very, very soon. Thank you.
You can follow our channel for the latest updates and more content. Opera We Love Singing, in just one word. Link in the description of the episode.